How we doing, guys? So it is the second week of lockdown. How are you all doing? Haven't done a live video for a few days now. Been quite busy being domesticated and doing things in the house. You know how it is. But yeah, listen, first and foremost, how is everyone doing? How is everyone handling lockdown? I know a lot of people tune in and watch from all across the world. So is your country in lockdown? First and foremost, if you're not in the UK, America, what's the situation over there at the moment? Yeah, I think India were in lockdown as well. There's just madness all over the world. Is there anyone locked in from China? What's the situation over there at the moment? Is it starting to get back to normal? Can we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel? So yeah, tonight we're just gonna sit here, talk football, go through some questions, and just try and pass a bit of time away. That's the main thing. I'm seeing a few questions coming in, and there's one here from Bangladesh, and they're saying that it's in lockdown as well. Malawi, which is in Africa, that's in lockdown as well. In terms of what's happening with DTFC, well, of course, we do have our own DTFC YouTube channel now. If you go into my actual page here, you will see a link there which goes into the DTFC channel. And yeah, of course, at the moment, there won't be much content going up because we're not playing. Our season has been finished. Our season is over. But the next step for DTFC is non-league football. And we are going from YouTube to non-league. Next season, we will be a non-league side. And I am absolutely buzzing. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about what the next steps are. In terms of everyone that's applied to come to the trials, don't worry. We've got all your details. We will be contacting everybody that's emailed, whether they've been successful to come down to the trials. But obviously at the moment, we don't know when the trials will be. We can't book a venue. We can't do anything until we know the current situation. So, yeah, that you're just going to have to sit and hold tight and wait. But yeah, I can't wait for it. I see someone there saying, what's your team going to be called? Well, it is DTFC. That was the hardest part because we went to the FA, the leagues and everything else, and they don't normally take teams that have initials and, you know, abbreviations and whatnot. But after a few calls and a few talks, they agreed that we could have DTFC. So we will be an FA affiliated side next season, and we'll be in the non-league. And I can't really say much more than that, but keep an eye on the channel because you will find out very soon the next steps and where we're going and everything else. So I'm really excited for it, that's for sure. Got a super chat question coming in from Andrew Chow. DT, do you ever look back with fond memories of Fancams in the Wenger era? Yes, no, not much success towards the end, but those times felt really good. Do you know what the thing is that I'm gutted that Fancams were not about in the era where Arsenal were dominant, and we were just absolutely smashing everything and everyone. Imagine if there was AFTV when the Invincibles were around. I'd be absolutely buzzing then, wouldn't you, if that was about. But yeah, sadly, it wasn't around. So all you pretty much got was the bad side, and the side that was just, yeah, really difficult. So in terms of those latter years, yes, it was difficult. There were times where I look back on and I think, oh my life, did I really say that? But there were some times as well where I feel that those things had to be said because we weren't getting the answers that we wanted. So, yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, I do look back on some of them with fond memories, that's for sure. But it is what it is. We've got another super chat question. Let's try and find this one. Right, where are we? Next question comes in from Shotdram Maldini. How are you doing? A regular on the show. When do you reckon DTFC will become a team in FIFA? And when do you think you'll reach the Premier League? Who knows? Who knows in terms of when we'll get on FIFA and reach the Premier League. But if we carry on the way that we're carrying on and doing what we're doing, then I'm sure that we can make a few waves and maybe get a few things happening. But yeah, for the Premier League, that's a long way off yet. Let's just concentrate on non-league. And I'm just looking to enjoy myself and the team and everything else. We just want to go as far as we can. And we'll see where we end up. But we're really, really excited. And we've got a lot of news to, let you guys know. But that will be on the DTFC channel in terms of the fact that we're in the stadium next season as well. I can't wait for you to see that. I haven't just been in lockdown. I've been very, very busy. Not just the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of months. Another super chat question comes in from Bobby Webb. Do you think the season should be voided? Yes, I do. And this is not anything against Liverpool. I've said that Liverpool deserve the title. They do. But you can't give it to them when they've not mathematically won the title. And the biggest issue is they're talking about the Premier League would have to give back £750 million, I think it is, to the TV in terms of the revenue and whatnot. But I was seeing a report today that if they don't start next season when they should, then it will cost them over £1 billion. So take your pick. Lose 750 in terms of paying back or lose £1 billion. I got a feeling that this season may well be voided. Next super chat question comes in from Vegas Gunner. And he says, what's up, DT? Based on current ownership and our high wage bill, would Calvin Phillips be a good look at central defensive midfield? You know what? There's so many players that we could look at to put in certain areas, and we've got to kind of go with a budget and whatnot. But I don't think we should be acting like such a small club. We're Arsenal Football Club, and, we should have the money there. And I know it's difficult because we've got Stan Kroenke. But, yeah, I just want us to start acting like a big club, man. That's the main thing. That's what I really want to see anyway. But, yeah, I want Thomas Partey, man. I'm just being greedy, you know. Next super chat question comes in from Felix Perez. Do you think Youssef Poulsen from RB Leipzig would be a good addition to the Arsenal squad? Do you know what? Leipzig have got some unbelievably talented players, throughout their team, their squad and everything else. But the one I want is Upamecano. Everyone knows that. That's who I want. I think that that's our priority, which is a defender, and Upamecano is that one, in my opinion. Next super chat question comes in from the BlindGuna. How are you doing? Another regular to the show. A regular face on AFTV as well. Evening, DT. The boredom is driving me crazy. Can't wait until the lockdown is over. You and me both, mate. I know how you are feeling. The lockdown is difficult. What are we into? About day 12 for me anyway. And it is tough. It is tough. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of banging your head on a wall time. And you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, my word, when is this going to end? Makes me sound like I'm having an interview with Robbie, doesn't it? When's it going to end? When's it going to end, Robbie? Ah, no. Do you know what? I'm going to put this up on the screen, yeah? I'm going to put this up on the screen. Hold on a minute. Wait there. 1 second. Right. Not this one first. Let me get through this one. Right. There's absolutely no chance I'm pronouncing that name. All right. But it's the question. Now, we've all seen what's happened to Robbie over the last few weeks. You've got no chance of me reading that name out. Nice try, but no chance. Fair play for trying, though. Next question comes in from Leonardo Brescia. I think that's pronounced that way. If you take FC Barcelona all-time 11 and Arsenal all-time 11, who do you think would win? I'd say the Arsenal all-time 11 is unbelievable, but that Barcelona side under Pep Guardiola was just something unreal. And you know what? They went on to win the biggest prizes, which is the Champions League, whereas we failed during that Invincibles kind of era. So you'd have to say Barcelona, wouldn't you? I can't get over that question. He really tried it. Really tried it. If there's one thing that I've been very, very careful of since I've put 2 videos up of Robbie is, you know, just keep an eye on some of the names and be careful before you read them out. Let's get this question up here. And a question comes from 7th Orisha. I believe the only solution would be to just cancel the season, as is with cash bonuses going to every team. Your thoughts? Yeah, listen, same kind of scenario, mate. To be honest, they're talking about the Premier League. It's going to cost them £750 million to give back to TV, BT, Sky, etc. But then the reports today were saying that if the league does not start in terms of next season, the Premier League are going to lose around about £1 billion. So pay back 750 million or lose £1 billion. I'm starting to see why they may well void the season. And I think that we're getting to that point now where we've got to look at the integrity of the league and everything else. And like I said, look, if Liverpool were only about 2 or 3 points ahead, I think everyone would probably be in agreement now that we just void the season. But given the fact that they're so far ahead and they're only a couple of ways from, winning the league, that's why there's a lot of this. Oh, it has to be finished. Has to be finished. Well, look, it doesn't have to be finished. All right, let's start understanding that life is more important than football. You know, let's look at the reality. Life is more important. So what will be, will be. Question comes in from Jasper. When is DTFC going to be in the FA Cup? Well, I believe that to begin with, you would enter into what's known as the FA Vars. Those are kind of like the higher up competitions in non-league. And if you actually get to the final of the FA Vars, it's played at Wembley. So it's a big competition. But yeah, in terms of preliminary rounds and everything else and trying to compete for the FA Cup, that's a few years off yet. But like I said, we take it season by season and game by game. So, yeah, but can you imagine that in a few years' time, DTFC in the FA Cup? Oh, Lord. Next question comes in from BeatboxTrey, another regular to the show. Who would be a bigger loss to their clubs, Kane or Aubameyang? I think, to be honest with you, Aubameyang would be a bigger loss to Arsenal than Kane would be to Spurs. I think there's this argument that Spurs can actually live without Harry Kane. He's been injured quite a lot over the last few seasons. He always seems to pick up an injury that keeps him out for a couple of months or so. And Spurs have actually done well without him. You look at last season when they reached the Champions League final. They done brilliant to get to the Champions League final without him. And then he came back, in my opinion, not fully fit. And he was put straight into the side ahead of the likes of Lucas for the final. And it was the wrong thing to do. So I think that Obar would be the bigger loss, much bigger loss, in my opinion. Let's get through some more questions here. Another one from the BlindGuna. If they void the season, Arsenal could come out of this with a Champions League football if Man City's ban is upheld. That is very true. Now, for everyone who doesn't know, if the season's void, they have to go by the last completed season, which was last year. Arsenal finished 5th. Now, if Manchester City's ban is upheld, we would go into the Champions League. Imagine that. Absolute banner. Another question comes in from Shotdram Maldini. What are your thoughts on Robbie's incredible documentary last night? P.S. Do you like my profile picture? Let me try and look at that. This guy's got jokes. Right. One more question, and then I'm going to get back to your one. I am going to go back to Robbie's documentary in a second. I just want to get this super chat question up. And it's from Conor McCarthy. Hi, DT. Would you take Frankfurt's young centre-back, Eric Schön? Again, do you know what? It's in terms of the centre-back position, I just want Upamecano. Maybe I'm so focused on him in terms of, you know, what I want. But he would be, you know, the mainstay of the centre of defence with the likes of Saliba for the next 10 plus years. You'd not have to worry. You'll see Upamecano. Some of you have only seen him for the first time when you watched him against Spurs in the Champions League. I've been saying this guy's name for over 2 years. There's videos on this channel from about 2 years ago where I was telling everyone Upamecano. And he's an unbelievable player. In terms of the other question that was asked a minute ago about Robbie's TV show last night, absolutely superb. And I hope that that show shut a few people up, because I've become very good in recent times to just ignore a lot of what goes on in social media, not argue back, not get embroiled in it. But yesterday throughout the day, I saw some stuff that I couldn't keep quiet about. And I see, you know, people presuming that the show was about Robbie saying there is racism at Arsenal. And, you know, that's why his dad can't go and everything else. And you had all these people sending so much abuse towards Robbie and saying that he's a liar and that he's doing it for the money, he's this, that, the other. First and foremost, the documentary was not about AFTV. The documentary was about racism in football in the 80s and 90s and whether it's creeping back into the modern game. Robbie went on to say that Arsenal is one of the most multicultural and accepted clubs in the land, even in the 80s and 90s. If you know your history, you'll know that, you know, blacks, Asians, it didn't matter what walk of life you were from, what your ethnicity was, you were welcome at Arsenal. Everybody knows this. But these people decided that instead of waiting, watching the documentary and seeing what it was about, would just launch into a tirade of abuse towards Robbie. I've seen people talking about him dying. I saw people talking about how, you know, he ain't going to be safe walking around the Emirates anymore, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to sit here and listen, because I knew what the documentary was about. I know how long Robbie's been filming it. I've been in and around where he is when the cameras are there filming outside the Emirates and everything else. So I've known about this for a long time. So I know what the basis of the documentary was about. And I'm sorry, but I'm not letting someone who's my friend take that kind of abuse and crap when it's just false. All right. People cannot wait to actually see. And it just shows how much people read a headline and jump the gun. And that's what they've done. They've completely just jumped the gun, read a headline, thought that's what it's about. We're going in there. And I took great pleasure in shutting so many of them up yesterday and then making sure that I retweet all their bullshit that they were talking about in the day so everyone could see what a bunch of pricks they really were, because they're the ones that now look stupid. But do you see them going online and making an apology and talking about it and saying, like, you know what, I got that wrong, actually. That was actually a good documentary. It's highlighting about racism, a really big problem, you know, from the 80s and 90s. And it is creeping back into the game now. You don't have to think about a Spurs fan throwing a banana at Aubameyang. You know, you have to think of Chelsea fans against Raheem Sterling. Look at what goes on in Italy on a regular basis. So, yes, it is a problem that's still here now. So it was such a good documentary. I'm really proud of what he did in terms of that documentary. And I thought it was absolutely superb, and fair play to him. Hats off to him. And to the haters, mate, can't say no more than that, can I? Next question comes in from Hemal. We really need to sign Upamecano. He is my number one target. He will really improve our defense, no doubt, with Saliba by his side. Stay safe. First and foremost, stay safe to you as well, of course. But yeah, listen, I can't add any more to that because I agree 110%. Upamecano would be the dream signing, and him and the likes of Saliba next to each other will be just immense, to be honest with you. Next question comes in from Wayne Spoony. What would you do if Mbappe signs for Arsenal? Oh, mate, have you ever seen my AFTV interviews where I talk about the magic sock after a great victory? Mbappe signs for Arsenal, that magic sock is coming out. Let's get through some more questions. We've got loads of super chats coming in. So we're going to try and get through those as well, first and foremost. Got one here from Prem Prodigy. Thoughts on Sancho and Grealish to United next season? As a United fan, I think those two improve us massively. As well, strong reports of us keeping Pogba. Do you think we could do anything next season? The Sancho one is very interesting. The price tag is absolutely unreal. Talking about 110 million euros. Dortmund are not going to budge either, just because there's been this virus and everything else. Dortmund don't need to sell for less than what they need to. 110 million, up to 400 grand a week. He's obviously a talented player, but I'll tell you something, for that kind of money, he's got to hit the ground running, and he's got to be like unbelievable for the next 10 plus years to get that kind of money back from him. In terms of Grealish, maybe his actions over the weekend have ruined his chance of joining one of the bigger sides. So yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see whether he keep Pogba as well. Next question comes in from Joshua Matthew. Arteta has made a good start to management at Arsenal under the circumstances, but given the ownership and other obstacles, do you see Arsenal even challenging for the title over the next 3 to 5 years with him in charge? What I will say is that I do think we're going to be competitive. That's the first thing. I do actually think that we're going to, maybe do a little bit better, shall we say. But I do think it's going to be a couple of years, 2 to 3 years anyway, before we even compete. But listen, the Cronkies have got to put their hand in their pocket. They've got to actually, go out of their way and show us that they, mean something, and that the club and everything else means something. So interesting, but will it happen? I'm not too sure. But I do think over the next couple of years or so, we'll certainly be more consistent under Arteta. Next question comes in from Jacob Watkins. Arsenal wore white before Tottenham if you look on history of Arsenal kits. Listen, do you know what? Don't get Tottenham fans started over everything because they'll be talking about South London and everything else and how we're moved in on their territory, even though Arsenal were actually a North London club before Spurs, because you were not even a borough of North London until after we had moved there. I think it was the 60s you become a borough of North London. So Spurs fans, shush, we was a North London club before you, and we're the biggest club in London, period. We won more trophies than any other London club. Fact. End of story. Next question. Danny the Unicorn 1. Who do you think will get into the Champions League at the end of the season? Oh, you know what, mate? The problem is that how's it going to be sorted out? Are we going to finish the season? If we're going to finish the season, then I'd probably say Leicester would stay in there. And then it'll probably be between Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal, because Arsenal have been doing well. We've only lost one game in 2020. We haven't lost an away game in the Premier League since Mikel Arteta was manager. So let's just remember that. Chelsea and Manchester United obviously have the upper hand. They've got the points already. And they've got the experience, I suppose. But Sheffield United and Wolves, I think they might have just dropped down a little bit. So, yeah, it's a tough one. We don't know where we're going to be. We don't know whether the season's going to be void and whether we're going to go from last year's results. So, yeah, if the season was to carry on, then I think it would probably be between Chelsea, Man United and Arsenal as an outsider to try and nick that fourth spot. But then you don't know. Fifth spot could be one as well. So, interesting. Next question comes in from Nathaniel James. Banter aside, honest opinion on Jose Mourinho overall. I think he's finished, to be quite honest with you. I've said this. It's not even, having a joke or anything else. But what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? There's, I just don't rate him as a manager anymore. I just honestly don't get it. I just don't see where he's going to take Spurs. I honestly don't see where he's going to take them. I don't see where. Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I'm just looking at it and thinking where they are in the league and what they've been doing. And I know they lost Son and I know that they lost Kane and whatnot, but they're just not that good. They're honestly just not that good. Let's have a little look through some of these questions. Ah, mate, you know what? I've just noticed as well. I think I've got done by one of them questions. Yeah. I said it in a different way, though. So I might be all right. You lot are getting too creative, man. Conor McCarthy, you little waste man. You got to laugh, haven't you? You got to laugh. Everyone's getting too creative. Seriously. You know, the only thing that I'll say about that is that it was a super chat and you paid for it. So, you know what? If you're paying for it, then boy, I'll say everything all day long. Don't matter, does it? Question comes here. SF Pred, invincible Arsenal as Liverpool haven't won the league. Well, yeah, we would have been invincible anyway, wouldn't we? Because of, you know, the situation and everything that they lost to Watford. I'm just glad that they lost that game before Watford, because if the season did get void or they got given the title now, then they would turn around and say they won it unbeaten. So, super chat question comes in from John Leette. What's your favourite Arsenal game? Mine's Parma v Arsenal. Wow, that's a game. Cup Winners' Cup final in Copenhagen. I was there. Alan Smith. And you know what? Parma at that time were regarded as one of the best. They were unbelievable. Thomas Brolin, Tino Asprilla, Zola, they were superb. And no one gave us a chance. Ian Wright was suspended for the final because he got a second booking against PSG, I believe it was, in the semi-final. And, yeah, no one gave us a chance, man. And we went there 1-0 up. And then it was George Graham centre-back masterclass. How to defend the lead. And we rode our luck at times, that's for sure. But, yeah, that's definitely one of the games. But, yeah, I always go back to it. Winning the league at Old Trafford, winning the league at White Hart Lane, winning the league at Anfield. To have experienced that in my lifetime, there's some people out there that haven't seen their team win the league. You know, there's some people out there that haven't seen their team win a trophy. But to actually see my team physically lift the league title, you know, and win it at Spurs, at Liverpool, at Manchester United. One of them's big, but three of them, we've been lucky in some respects. Another super chat question comes in from Jasper. Most underrated player in the Barclays Premier League. Most underrated player. I wouldn't say the likes of Martinelli and whatnot, because everyone rates them now. You probably have to go further down in the Premier League. I suppose, what's his name? I'll tell you what I like the look of. The lad at Norwich City. The one with the long hair. What's his name? Is it Cantwell or something? What's his name? Someone let me know in the comment section what his name is. I think it's Cantwell. But he's really good. Jimenez at Wolves is another one. Most definitely. Yeah, saying there in the comment section, Todd Cantwell. Yeah, that's it. I rate him. He's a good player. He's a good player. And I think he's done all right this season. I remember at the start of the season, it was Pookie, wasn't it, that was flying, man. And then it just kind of died out for him after that. Jota as well. That's another one. He's a big player, man. Let's have a little look. I'm going to try and go through some of these questions, see if I can get them up. Oh my God, we've got loads coming through, man. So difficult trying to keep up. I need a PA just to keep an eye on my questions for me. Question comes in from Andre. If you can't get to a match and you can't watch it on TV for whatever reason, and the only way you can get an accurate report on the game was one AFTV interview, who would you choose? Wow, what a question. What a question. I wouldn't choose Claude, because even when we win, he's still moody. So you wouldn't have an idea, would you? It would probably have to be Troops, because he would give the clearest indication, because he would, you know, go from either saying, you know, I've had enough blood. What was that, fam? to being all like, about my blood clot, young, like a blood clot set. So you would know whether we won or not. You'd know the difference in his whole mindset and his attitude. That's a really good question. I like that one. Do you know what? I keep getting asked this question as well in loads of my live shows, and people say Rangers or Celtic. And I've said so many times, I ain't getting involved in the Rangers v Celtic debate. I've been to both grounds. I've got so much respect for both clubs. And yeah, I understand the history between Rangers and Celtic and why there's such a hatred and rivalry. But that's not my place. And I've never had a problem with Celtic or Rangers. So, yeah, I've got no problem with either of them. Question from Hamzino. Would you take Fekir? Like a year or so ago, 2 years ago, I ain't really heard much of him since he's left Lyon. That was a bit of a surprise where he went. How is he actually doing this season? I haven't really kept an eye on him, and I really can't say that I know. So, yeah, I don't know. So, got to take a break, have a Kit Kat. So, what is everyone been doing since they've been in isolation? How is everyone handling isolation? What are you doing? Are you doing things in the house? You know, what is it you're actually going around and doing? Are you getting out and going for runs? You know, you're 1 run a day. Remember that. You're only allowed to exercise once a day. Yeah. So make sure that we get that perfectly clear, because you don't want to get into trouble and get the old Bill chasing after you. So, or you're just sitting at home, not much to do. You know, anyone on here that's got children, how are you dealing with your kids? Oh my God. Oh my word. What I will say, if there's anyone on here that's looking after their kids and they got more than one, all right, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's bloody hard work. Really hard work. Question comes in from IK. And I've been watching my Arsenal season reviews. Just finished 07-08. Well, this is where it gets downhill. After 07-08, year after the Champions League final. So I suspect for the next, 8 years or so, you're not going to see us win anything. Another question. Where we got? I know there was one here. Let me find it. This one comes in from Emmanuel Mustafa, Drogba and Lampard, or Henry and Bergkamp, and why? Mate, listen, go and ask even Chelsea fans and they'll tell you Thierry Henry was on a different planet. Even Didier Drogba asked his children who their favourite player was, and he thought they were going to turn around and say, "You, Daddy," and they were like, Thierry Henry. The guy is just a different planet. He's just a phenomenon. I watched the guy live. He's like a swan on water. The guy is just mind-blowing. I don't think I will ever see anything like that again in my lifetime. He was just a different level. And one of the seasons when he got over 20 goals and over 20 assists in the same season, he was just insane. And Dennis Bergkamp, listen, he was part of that, first foreign import that came in and really changed the mold of the game. Dennis Bergkamp, is just, it's just different levels. Don't get me wrong, Drogba and Lampard, what they've done and everything, unbelievable achievements. One thing, stats, all this, that, but better than those two? Nah, absolutely no chance are they better than them two. Not in a million years. What do you miss about Highbury? And that comes from Michael Page. Oh, mate, do you know what? Highbury, man. I love the closeness of the pitch, being right on it. By the end, when we went to all seating, shall we say, I was in the clock end and I was row 1. I think it was block 119, and it was just to the right-hand side of the goal if you was behind it. And at Highbury, they used to have like this little walk bit in front of row 1, which had like this metal grate going across it. And underneath it was all the wiring and stuff for the boards and whatnot. But you was literally on the pitch. I could hear the goalkeeper breathing. You could hear everything, feel everything. It was just, oh. But I could go back just for one game, just experience that one more time. That would be unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I'd love to go back just for one more time. That'd be amazing. This is an interesting one. What do you think of Lampard as manager and why? I think he's done a great job at Derby. And I think that in certain periods this season, he's done really well. And he's looked really good. But then in certain periods as well, he's looked out of his depth. But he's still young and he's still learning in terms of managerial role. And I think that, you know, it'd be interesting to see what he can do with Chelsea when he's allowed to spend some money. That would be the interesting thing. But most definitely when they were playing in Europe and they played against the likes of Bayern Munich, they're so out of their depth. It's unbelievable. But it'd be interesting to see where he goes and whether, you know, Abramovich will give him the money that he obviously wants to bring in some of his own top players. But yeah, I think he's done a decent job. Question comes from Unknown Driller. Do you remember Gatecrashing? The Guna talk, and where's the governor? Mate, only the originals will know about that. That was the night that Hello Boys and Girls was born. I was on my way back from Sunderland, and there was a debate on a YouTube show that I used to go on. And it had 2 Arsenal fans that were Wenger out and 2 Arsenal fans that were Wenger in. And the Wenger in were not letting these 2 speak. I couldn't get on the show. And you have to send a link to join on the actual show and be a guest. So I messaged the host. He wasn't letting me have it. I messaged one of the guests that I knew that was Wenger out. And he was like, no, I can't do that. And then I messaged one of the other ones that was on there. And I basically just said to him, like, oh, I got sent the code and I lost it. Can you send me it? So he sent me it and I jumped in. I went on about a 3-4 minute rant at these 2 and finished them. Done. Classic. What a video that was. Let's get through some questions. Got loads of super chats coming in as well. Let's have a look. Here we go. We'll start from here. The first one. Wickham Fan FC. When do you think the coronavirus will be over? And love the Instagram videos of Robbie. Yeah, it's probably going to be one of me tonight now. I don't think we're going to be playing football until around about October, to be honest with you, unless something drastic happens. That's my honest opinion on it. And I don't think that's going to change pretty much anytime soon. And I think we're all kind of in the dark at the moment. It's unprecedented and we don't really know where we're going to go or where we're going to end up. But I'd say around about October, probably locked up until June in the UK and social distancing until about October. Another question comes in from Jacob Watkins. Arsenal should have turned Highbury into their reserve stadium. So much history in that ground. Money, mate. That's what it is. There's no way they would have turned that into the reserve ground and everything else. They had to turn it into Highbury House and whatever it is and the flats and all that. And Bergkamp's got one. Henry's got one, I believe, as well. And they had to do that to get their money back. It would have been ideal. It would have been lovely, wouldn't it? But yeah, it just wasn't going to happen, to be honest. So sad but true. Next question comes in from FaZe Hydra. Arsenal versus Spurs or West Ham versus Millwall, which is the better vicious London derby? Listen, West Ham Millwall is mad, but they don't play that often unless they play each other in the cup because they're not in the same leagues. Arsenal and Spurs are guaranteed twice a season, minimum. And if you've never been to an Arsenal-Tottenham game, especially at Spurs, go and experience it. You don't even have to be there as a fan. Just go and stand on the outskirts of Tottenham High Road when Arsenal fans walk down there. I know from what I'm hearing, it's going to be different now because the away end's round the other side and you get brought in a different way and apparently it's a lot more controlled. Let's see how controlled it is when Arsenal go there. Because I've spoken to, some of the guys at West Ham and whatnot that have already been there, and they said that it is a lot easier, it is a lot calmer. But Arsenal Spurs, man, that is ferocious. Some of the stuff that I've seen go on down Tottenham High Road, mate. I'm going to keep that one in my pocket. That's some madness that's gone on in the years down there. Oh, yeah. Question comes in. James Morrison, least favourite Arsenal player, past and present. I don't hate any Arsenal players in terms of the current squad or anything. Least favourite. You always have your favourites. You love the likes of Leno and Aubameyang because of what they do on the pitch. And then you've got some that really frustrate you in some of their performances. Hector Bellerin's been frustrating to me in recent games. So you look at that and you'd say Mustafi, he was one of the least favourite, but he's turned that around unbelievably well. And he's doing so well now. In that sense, in terms of players that are left, Adebayor, Nasri, Ashley Cole, I would say Van Persie, but I don't really hold it against him too much in a sense because what he turned around and said after he left about the club's ambition turns out to be true. I was just pissed that he went to Manchester United. Question comes in from Andrew Chow. What happened to the old AFTV interviews like Chris and Lee Gunner? Also, how did you and Goldbridge make up? Happy to see you both getting along. I don't know where Chris has gone. I hardly even see him at games. I used to see him around. I think he still goes, but I honestly don't know. As for Lee, no comment. Got nothing to say on that situation. And in terms of me and Goldbridge, yeah, we kind of sort of buried everything when DTFC played United Stand a few months ago, and we won 7-0, by the way. And yeah, we were kind of like sorted it out then and kind of just said, look, let's let things drop, man. Let's let bygones be bygones. And then we were doing some work together for 90 Mins and 888. We were a promotional video, and we got on well that day. We had to actually spend a whole day together, and we actually got on well. And then, yeah, we both spoke last week, and we done a show last week. We're going to be doing another one tomorrow. So, yeah, it was it is what it is. It's a small space, so let's just, you know, enjoy each other's, you know, projects and whatever we want to do and help each other. So that's what I say about the situation anyway. Another question comes in from Vegas Gunner. How do we fix the wage bill and roster to get back to glory? Seems like we are stuck with some overpaid average players and Ozil for another season. Do you know what? I actually see a question that was being spoke about by Robbie today, and he was saying that Aubameyang could be sacrificed because we can't get rid of Mesut Ozil, and that would really piss me off because we should be paying Aubameyang the big wage because he's the one that produces the goods week in, week out. But Mesut Ozil's got a year left on his contract. Is he going to go anywhere else? Who wants him? Who's going to pay that kind of money? Is he going to want to leave? Nah. I think we need to restructure everything, but it's going to take a while. And this is the problem of the old regime as to why we're in this situation. So there we go. Next question comes in from Coleman Maloney. Hopefully coming to see the Arsenal at some point next season once we get past this whole situation. Big up from Boston. Keep killing it, brother. Nothing but respect there. Coleman, thank you for the support. And yeah, big up to everyone in Boston. Big up to everyone in America. I know that things are tough over there at the moment as well. And I think we're all going through a really tough time. But yeah, most definitely, when you come to an Arsenal game, whenever that will be, give me a shout, let me know, and come and say hello. Most definitely. Blimey, an hour gone already. That went quick. Probably do about another 10 minutes or so. I'll answer this question in a second. Hold on 1 minute. Let me get this one up. Nathaniel James. Is it true Bully from AFTV got banned for racism? Not as far as I'm aware. What I will say is, what can I actually say without saying too much? But there's someone within Bully's family very close to him that's not well. And Bully's priority is to look after them. And football is secondary. And that's what I will say on the situation. I can't really say much more from what I've heard and everything because it's not my place to. But no, that's not, you know, why he's not been on AFTV or anything. He hasn't been banned for racism, and I've not heard any of that. And it is a personal family issue as to why he's not even going to football at the moment, let alone coming on AFTV. So that's all I can really say in the situation. I like this question because you know what? Saran has said, hey DT, what day is it today? Do you know what? Do you know how many times over this last week I've sat there and I've gone, what day is it today? I don't even remember. Hold on a minute. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It feels like Thursday. How long have I been locked down? What is that? 12th day. 12th day for me in lockdown. Oh, mate. 12 days. All I need is a tag round my ankle, man. Mad. Another question comes in from BeatboxTrey. As a Chelsea fan, I rate Arteta, but I can't see him being backed. Will fail. Also, last one. How do you think in 20 years' time your banner will be looked at? Do you know what? You know the maddest thing is that I actually, do think that in years down the line, when you go back and look through history books and bits and pieces that happen in periods of football clubs, the banner will be a part of history. And the first time I really noticed this was, I think it was a couple of years ago when Wenger first left, and they done a documentary on BT Sport, I think it was, and it was Wenger versus Ferguson. It was just basically reliving the era of Fergie and Wenger and everything else, and through the years and the battles that they went through. And then I'm watching it. I knew nothing about this. I'm watching it. I'm like, wow, what a program, reliving great times. And then we're coming towards more the modern time. And then all of a sudden, bang, on the TV, up popped me being interviewed on AFTV, and then the banner. I was like, oh my God. There's a documentary on the history of Wenger and Ferguson, and in there is me. I was like, oh dear Lord. So a bit of an interesting one, that's for sure. Question from Jacob Watkins. What was your first Arsenal game? Mine was when Coventry beat us 3-2 in 1999. My first game was January the 1st, 1987. And it was against Wimbledon at home. And we won 3-1 with Charlie Nicholas scoring a couple and Niall Quinn. And for people that don't know who Wimbledon are, they are now MK Dons. Although there is an AFC Wimbledon, which is the original and still Wimbledon. But yeah, they basically got up, moved to Milton Keynes. Go check the history of it. It was, it's not great, the way that they were treated. The original Wimbledon, the Dons, the Wombles, the crazy gang. God, they were some mad players, man. They were mad. Those are some good days, man. Justin Fashanu, Vinnie Jones. Oh my God. Question, Joshua Matthews. How long did it take to get your season ticket? I've had a season ticket since Highbury. There's 5 of us in my family that go to every single game, and we've had season tickets. 3 of my dad and 2 of my brothers. They had bonds in the North Bank at Highbury. And anyone who knows what the bonds were, they were like schemes that they went into. And then you had your own names on your seat and everything at Highbury. And they had theirs in the North Bank. And we all had season tickets. And we all still go to this day. My mum and dad, mid-70s, still go. My dad's been going since 1948. Jesus Christ. Yeah, my dad's been going a long time, man. Long time. So yeah, I've not had to worry about season ticket because I've had one since season tickets were around. Question comes in from Shiv. One of your kids making Arsenal senior team debut, or Arsenal winning the Champions League ever? It's got to be my kids, man. Imagine seeing your child walk out wearing the red and white. For me, that would just be the most insane feeling. The immense sense of pride and passion and everything else that you would feel of seeing your flesh and blood, your son, walk out playing for Arsenal with your name on the back of the shirt, mate. Oh, mate, I don't even bear thinking. That would be mad. That'd be mad. Tell you. And a lot of people, they obviously know my oldest boy, Kieran. But I've got 2 other sons as well. I've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'll tell you something, watch out for them. Watch out for them. And the maddest thing as well, my 9-year-old, He's a lefty, left footer, unreal left foot, ping, bins all the time. And my 4-year-old, like his older brother Kieran, he's right. So you never know. Maybe you might have either one on the right and left. Do you know what I mean? That would be mad. But the 4-year-old, mate, I'll tell you something. That boy, oh my dear God. That boy is striking 5-size footballs like they're size 2 and 3. Like, he's ridiculous. Yeah. Let's get a few more questions. How long we've been on? Hour exactly. I'm enjoying tonight, actually. Got loads of questions coming in. Question from World of Lewis. Favorite away day ground to visit? Spurs. I just love the day. I love the occasion. I love the ferocity. I love everything that comes with it. It's amazing. And I don't think you can beat that, in my opinion. Connor Stevens, Fabregas or Van Persie? Fabregas. I knew he was going to leave anyway. We knew he was. It's annoying that we never took up that option to take him and we let him go to Chelsea. But yeah, I don't blame him going back to Barcelona. We knew that was going to happen at some point anyway. He's, you know, he's Catalonian, so it was always going to happen. He was going to go back there. Let's get through a few more questions. Wow. I just see that question from Ashley. That's mad. I haven't actually seen if that's true or not. He's saying about someone that sadly lost their life to the coronavirus and they were 13 years old. Mate. Jesus Christ, man. That's wow. Don't even bear thinking about, does it? Just what a cruel world if that is true, especially. Just don't bear thinking about. Hazin 2-1 in 2006 Champions League. We lost to Barca and moved to Emirates to compete. How did Barcelona did so much better than us in the years after? Money, staff, tactics. Money. They went and bought the players that they needed to buy. You know, they took Henry off us. They had Messi already. They bought Suarez. You know, the list is endless of the players that they had. And then they had Pep Guardiola. And he was just phenomenal. So, yeah, they gone on to bigger and better things. And we just kind of stuck in the mud. Another question from Shotran Maldini. Why don't all of the main people on AFTV do a FIFA tournament? Who would win? First and foremost, I'd win anyway. Simple as that. Now, I don't normally have time to play FIFA and stuff. I don't get the time. I'm so busy. And it ain't just football, work and business and everything else. It's kids and stuff as well. But I'm always going on Kieran's one. I'm always doing things. But I decided to order myself a PS4 this week. And that's on its way. It's time to hand out some L's. So keep an eye out because there's going to be some live FIFA stuff going on. And no doubt I'll probably set up a one-on-one match against a few people. Maybe even Goldbridge. That'd be a good one. Imagine me and him on a live stream. That'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Question from James Fallon. Have you seen Troops' vlogs? Yeah, I've seen them. It's like at home with the Hamiltons. It's like, it's hilarious, man. See, I've met his missus as well, so I know who she is, and I've seen both his little boys and that. Absolute jokers, the pair of them. You know, he has his nicknames for them, and yeah, listen, I know how tough it is with kids and that. But yeah, great boys, and seeing that as well is quite funny. Seeing him do his dancing, seeing him do his cooking, and listen, troops, bruv, you can cook as much as you want. You still ain't gonna beat me in the next cooking competition, and we're only gonna have a cooking competition when you actually do the forfeit for the last one you lost. But yeah, I've been watching the vlogs, man. They've been keeping me entertained, man. They're quite funny. Yeah, I'm going to be doing all kinds of FIFA stuff, loads of FIFA stuff, career modes, you name it. So keep an eye out for a lot of that stuff, please, because it's going to be really, really good. I will be filming another podcast this week with Robbie. I'm also going to be doing a lot more of these live streams over the next couple of weeks, but I'm going to be bringing some guests on to do the shows with me. I can't say too much at the moment, but you will see very soon. But I've got some Premier League footballers coming on to the shows with me. Pulled in a few favours, and we get to speak to a few about what life is like in lockdown for a Premier League footballer in terms of training and, you know, the regime that they have to do and everything else. Question from Seki Carr. Are you banned from vlogging at the Emirates? No, I don't vlog home or away. And that's because I take my youngest boy now, my 4-year-old, and it's too difficult trying to do all that. And I'm just trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to enjoy my time with him at games. So, yeah, there won't be any vlogs soon, but I might get a couple in eventually, especially with us going back to football, man. I think that with this break and everything else, and when we do go back to watching football again, I think that there's a lot of people out there that probably enjoy seeing some of the vlogs again. Thoughts on Chelsea getting Ziyech? I was disappointed in that because I wanted him. Can't say no more than that, really, to be honest with you. Rate him highly. Question from Shivang. Which Arsenal moment / game gave you the most pain? Champions League final 2006. No other game even comes close. 14 minutes away from winning the fucking Champions League, man. Oh, and if there was VAR, then Etu would have been offside. He was offside, man. You blind prick. How did you not see he was offside, man? Question comes in from David. Do you always have the same seat at the Emirates? And shout out to you from New Zealand. Yes, I do sit in the same seat because that's my season ticket. So a lot of people probably see from my blogs, they know where I sit, where I am. I'm in block 10. And yeah, I've been in that particular seat for quite a few seasons now. I moved it. I was always block 10 since we've been to the Emirates, always block 10. And then I didn't like it further back where I was. I wanted to go a bit closer. So luckily I had a friend that I know, someone that I know who was sitting further down, and they actually wanted to go further back, stay in block 10, but so we both wanted to swap. So start of one of the seasons, contacted Arsenal and said, look, we're both in block 10. He's down near the front. I'm down near the back. We want to swap. Can we do it? And the club swapped us round. So, yeah, I've been in block 10 ever since the Emirates was there. But last few years, 3-4 years, I've been further down than previous years. So, yeah, listen, one of the things as well, make sure you get following on the socials if you're not already. I'm sure you all know my Twitter, Mr. DTAFC, Instagram, Mr. DTAFC, And the same with Facebook page as well, which is relatively new, Mr. DTAFC. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to DTFC. We have our own channel now, and we will be going into non-league football next season. So yeah, that would be really good if you can, go and follow, subscribe, shall I say, to the channel. If you go onto my link channels in here, you will actually see DTFC come up. Or if you go onto any of my socials, you'll see the links to the channels there. There's an introduction video out at the moment. That's on my Twitter. It's on the DTFC Twitter page. My Instagram in the bio, in the DTFC bio. So there's plenty of ways to get there. Go subscribe and get yourself involved, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I can't wait to share what the next steps are for DTFC, that's for sure. Let's get a couple more questions in. I've been here for over an hour already. When did you meet Robbie and Troops? AFTV. Jesus, look how long that's getting, man. My word. That's going to be huge by the time this lockdown's over, man. Dear Lord. I might actually just shave it all off. So met Robbie because of AFTV, and then Troops because of AFTV. So I see a question there. 5 reasons why you hate Tottenham. Because they are Tottenham Hotspur. 5 reasons. Let's get through last couple of questions, and then I am out of here. What was one close signing we missed out on that would have taken us to the elite level? Ronaldo. That's the one. We all know about it. He was near enough an Arsenal player. We were haggling over a few pennies and whatnot. And yeah, we let him go back to Sporting and thought we could haggle it and wait it out. And they had a friendly against Manchester United, and Ronaldo played in it, and he was unreal. And Ferguson said, go get him now, pay the money they want. And Ronaldo ended up at Manchester United. And Ronaldo was that close to Arsenal. He was actually there. Oh, mate, don't even get me started, man. Haggling over peanuts, man. Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I know that. Martinelli was on trial at Manchester United. And, yeah, you can never tell how they're ever going to turn out, but that's one that I bet they wish they'd never let go. So, yeah, listen, that's going to be it for tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed it, answering loads of questions, had a lot of fun. Like I said, there's going to be loads coming out this week. I'm going to be doing videos with other people this week. I'm going to get people on and everything else. And hold on, a super chat's coming, so I'll answer this one. And it comes from Ambessa. What is your transfer window dream this season? Upamecano, Partey, and then they're the 2 main ones. Them 2. Everything else around it, I think we can deal with, but those 2, Upamecano and Partey, they would be my 2 main ones. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a show tomorrow with Goldbridge in the afternoon. I'm going to be getting Robbie onto one of these. We're filming a podcast as well with Robbie. And yeah, listen, I've really enjoyed it tonight. Thank you to everybody that's locked in, sent questions. And yeah, tomorrow morning, DT Daily, as usual. So stay tuned. Thank you to every single one of you. Like I said, go and follow all the socials and everything else. And I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.